Welcome, dear astrology friends. Welcome to another reading, another video with me, Veerle. And this is all about the new moon in Sagittarius that is going to happen around and about the 20th of December. So depending on where you're living, the 20th, around that time of December, we're going to have the sun and the moon together, which is called in astrology the new moon. And it's going to be around 28 degrees of Sagittarius. So at the very end of the sign, the galactic center. And what is this all about? That's what this video is about. What is the energy? And then for the 12 signs, I'm going to have a quick look at where this is falling in your chart. Now, it's an easy one to explain, this one, because every time around this time of the year, we have a new moon in Sagittarius. And this one is one that is in an aspect to and Saturn and Neptune. So I've been talking about this for a long time, this Saturn-Neptune conjunction. And so this Sagittarian energy is a lot flavored by Saturn and Neptune. But Sagittarius in itself, it's always, with a new moon, it's always planting of a new seed. It's new plans, it's new thoughts, new actions, new planting of a little seed. And the weeks to come, for sure, are there to, to see that these new plans are coming out. But in Sagittarius, it's already a sign of hope and growth and purpose. So it's very, mostly lots of people, not everyone, but most people around the end of the year, they get into the state of having a bit of a helicopter view of what the year was all about and what are the plans for the future. So around that time, it begins around the 20th of December, even a day before, you could say, the 19th. You can feel that energy of looking back and having that higher perspective, because this is what Sagittarius is all about. Sagittarius has that, it has that wisdom. It gets wisdom not only by, you could say, things that you've read or that you've seen, or no, because you experienced it in some way. And it's looking back at all the experiences and also looking forward. It's really that helicopter distance that you take of observation. That's why people who've got Sagittarian planets, they mostly have that philosophical energy around them. Especially when it's their sun, their moon, or an ascendant, or even some personal planets like Venus, Mars, and so on. If you know people like that, they really are all about growth and evolution in a very constructive, positive way. But they do this. They are called the optimists of the zodiac. Why? Because they give meaning to something in a constructive, positive way. So, for instance, if a person loses their job, person A and person B, they both lose their job. Person A has not Sagittarian planets, or is not really the Sagittarian vibe. So they will perceive that when a person is not very conscious, they will perceive it as horrible and terrible and whatnot. And of course, everyone will perceive that in a certain way and in a certain amount. But then after that, it's about how you go on. But a Sagittarian, they also will, they will feel, absolutely, but it's a fire sign. And they will say, okay, what is the meaning of all of this? See it in a bigger perspective, right? And even if you don't believe in God or Allah or whatever, you can believe in something that is bigger than you, which is very Sagittarian-like. It's represented by the 9th house. And it's all about believing in something that is bigger than you, whether it is the universe, nature, the strength of that. That you don't have to do it all. You're not God. You are in alignment with God and aligning with a higher purpose, aligning with the things that are happening not to you, but around you, that are happening in your circumstances, and seeing like, okay, yes, I lost my job, but it's a challenge here, and I'm going to see it as a positive one, and I'm going to turn it around in an even better job than I already had. And that is the spirit. Talking about spirit, it's a very spiritual sign, and that's why people think with people have a lot of, and we all gonna, I'm talking about this with people having Sagittarian energy or planets there, but we are going to be able to tap into that energy now more than ever because we have that new moon. So it's up to us if we tap into that, if we align with that energy or not. Remember, the planets aren't doing anything to us. No, it's just we tapping into the energy. You know, when it's raining, we can say, okay, maybe it's a better time to work from home, or to do, you know, to not go out too much, or when the sun is shining, it's better to go out, and so on. You align yourself with the energy around you. Makes life so much more interesting and much more comfortable as well. So that's why Sagittarians, they are perceived as easy peasy, easygoing, bold, but it's nothing further than the truth, because people with Sagittarian energy, they also probably a lot of Sagittarians, they have a Venus in Scorpio or a Mercury in Scorpio because of the position of the planet. So they are deep people, and it's not like these people, they just lucky. No, they make their life lucky. So let that be a message, that you have an opportunity in whatever this energy is falling in your chart, whether it is in the your midheaven, which is career. You have an opportunity to plant a seed and to create more purpose in your life. If it's in your relationship sector, it's creating more purpose there, or someone who's giving you a lot of purpose in your life and you're learning a lot from it. Its ruler is Jupiter, and Jupiter is in a very good place now. During this time, Jupiter will be at around about 22 degrees of Cancer, where it loves to be, because it can expand, it can coach and protect whatever it wants, and protect the loved ones. It's a very watery, emotional sign, Sagittarius, but it's very, very protective, but also very, very supportive energy that we have. And Jupiter is still trining widely Saturn and Neptune. You know, the energy that I was just talking about, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. Saturn at 25 of Pisces, Neptune at 29 of Pisces. This energy, this combo, is all about the dream coming true. And remember, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, which is going to square this new moon. So we're going to have the sun and the moon in Sagittarius, 28 degrees, and it's going to square up to Saturn and Neptune at the end of Pisces, the end of Sagittarius, the end of Pisces, which is tension, but which also means that we have an opportunity to grow. Because if we don't have tension, we're not really growing, you know. We can enjoy ourselves and be comfy and watch Netflix, have a good glass of wine. That's all good and well, but the tendency of growth, I don't think that we're growing when we're doing that. We are relaxing that, and we need those times. But now it's a time for growth, and it's a time for looking at our purposes, for looking at where we want to be. But also with reflecting where we are coming from, so that we are doing this in a wise way, right? And this Saturn and Neptune, Saturn, the Lord of reality, the Lord of discipline, the Lord of, hey, get down to earth with the feet back to earth and do things that you have to do, right? Don't do any shortcuts. Don't get all crazy here, and be in the 3D. Thank you very much. And Neptune is all about, hey, but let's trust. Let's believe in something that is bigger than us. Let's believe in empathy. Let's believe in the goodness of life and in the magic of life. So you see those two, they really are each other's opposites. And when they come together, it means that we need both of them at the same time, which is tension already. Because you could say the Neptune, and certainly in Pisces with Saturn there, it is about subconscious patterns that we're gonna meet with this new moon. Because first it's gonna hit Saturn at 25 degrees, and then it's gonna hit Neptune at 29 degrees. So first we're gonna have the boundaries, you could say, the restrictions, So it seems, entre parenthèses, because ultimately it's when something is, or we perceive as being blocked, it's supposed to be like that. And when we embrace it and when we are not resisting it, it's going to be easier. And so there's something that we have an eye on, to plant a new seed, to have a new purpose, to everything that's connected with study. Sagittarius is all about study and travel, international affairs, growth, coaching. All of these items, we have an opportunity to start something new. The Saturn means, hey, do you have your, let's say you want to do a new study, that's very much a new moon in Sagittarius. I want to start a new workshop of a couple of weeks, or I want to start a bachelor degree, master degree, you name it. That is, or I want to start learning to speak a new language, whatever. That is very Sagittarian. Saturn is saying, you will have to study every week, right? That's Saturn. So immediately we will bump into those, again, entre parenthèses, boundaries, but it's reality. It's a reality check. You can't learn a language without speaking it, unless they put a chip in us, right? I mean, you see, it's like you do the work. You do the work. And like you have an idea, I want to writing and publishing and editing, everything that has to do with social media, with big platforms like YouTube, for instance, where a lot of people, you reach a lot of people. That's also a bit of YouTube. That's also a bit of ninth house Sagittarian vibe. So if you want to do that and planting seeds, great. But Saturn, make sure you're making a video, for instance, every week. And not every 2 months. It's the consistency and the hard work that we are going to face immediately. But use it as a motivator, and use it not as I'm not going to make it anyways because I'm not good enough. That's the guilt trip. That's the negative side of Saturn. That is like, I'm guilty and I'm a victim. They are doing better than I am doing. Really, it's that not mature energy. But Saturn in a mature energy is work. It's doing your thing and doing it consistently, and therefore having success in the long run. It's like, in economy, it's like compound interest. I always compare it with that. It's like it grows and grows and grows. If you don't know what compound interest is, just look it up. I'm not going to explain that here because it's not important for the astrology. But so we will be bumping into Saturn immediately. Like, okay, if you want to write a book next year in 2026, at the end of the year, you will, okay, but you will have to write a page every day, at least, to have 365 pages at the end of the year. It's energy like that, Saturn. So use it right. Use it in a mature way. This Saturn, don't run away from Saturn. Use it in a mature way. And the square to Neptune also shows that think big, have a big vision. You're allowed to have some dreams. And, that combination is really of, I want to publish a book, for instance, and I want to write a book about, Sagittarius is the messenger for sure. So about my experiences with this or that, or in fashion industry or whatever. And I have a lot of experience, want to spread my message, and I want to write about it. Okay, Saturn means I will have to work every single day on this project, and I'm going to compartmentalize it, or how do you say that? And I'm going to bump into some old subconscious patterns of mine, which I'm going to delete, right? So Saturn and Pisces, subconscious patterns. I'm going to delete. I'm not going to tell myself like, oh, I'm not good enough and all of that. I'm not going to fall for that crap. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to own it, and I'll see where it goes. And who knows? Neptune, it's trust. Neptune and Pisces is trusting the universe. It's trust that what will work out is the best for you and everyone concerned. It's prayer. And if you say that in prayer, you kind of already let go. You kind of show the universe that you trust. And so prayer is important. And I don't want to be too cheesy here, but it is. to whatever you want to pray to, right? Whether it is God, the universe, again, Allah, or your higher self, it doesn't matter. Do so. And Saturn and Neptune, that's why it's making your dream come true. It's reality, Saturn, the manifester, but it's also Neptune, which is the ideal, which is, and you don't want to have the negative side of a Sun, Moon square Neptune, because the negative side is of expecting too much from the outside world. And whether it is a person, a situation, or whatnot, expecting too much, demanding actually. That's the trick, not doing that, you know. And I'm not saying that if you are in a relationship, you cannot expect that your spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend is doing something that you don't want to do. That's not it that I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is be realistic, right? If you met someone and they're drinking 3 bottles of whiskey during one night, and you expect them to just do cold turkey for the whole year. I mean, is it realistic? Or if you say, hey, yeah, this person wants to help themselves, and you're in that process and you do it each step at a time, and that is realistic. And at the end of the year, you're going to have your goal, which is a more healthy person that you are living with, for instance. So it's really that reality, feet on the ground, but at the same time, the heart, the hope, and being open. Because if you're not open, your heart is not open, you can't receive a lot, do you? Or you will have to do a lot of effort. So it's a very beautiful new moon. It's a challenging one, though, if you really want to, because it can create some tension around, okay, what is this new idea? What is this new purpose that I want to plant a seed? Well, what is this new thing? It's a bit of a challenge here. But if I want to do this, it's far away, but at the same time, I have to work for it, and so on and so on. Another thing is, this is all mutable energy. And mutable energy is not good or bad. Again, energy, it's neutral. But what is important to know with this mutable energy, we're not supposed to be fixated. We're not supposed to, that is the plan, and I'm going to stick to the plan. No, that would be if we're in fixed signs or whatever. But we're having here mutable energy, lots of it, which means go with the flow. Go with the flow, adjust yourself. Don't overdo it either, right? Like, you're adjusting yourself so much that you're losing yourself. That's not what I mean. What I mean is you kind of go with the flow in a wise way. Like, okay, when you're trying to do that and you're, let's say, trying to find a new job and you're always at the same company writing letters, it's maybe now time, and you see rejection. Okay, rejection is God's protection. I'm gonna I'm going to observe a little bit here, and I'm going to say to myself, why not maybe going in another company or writing to a letter to another company. You see, it's like that energy of being very mutable, being adjustable and flexible, which is going to be an asset here. So we're going to hear, if you are celebrating, Christmas and New Year's Eve and whatnot, we're gonna hear a lot of conversations, and we're gonna hear a lot of solutions for world problems. You can be sure of that. But know that, some plans are going to have to be shifted, right? So it can mean also a little bit of confusion, because the sun and the moon in a square to Neptune, it is confusion. It is not knowing. And you can do two things, right? You can resist it, which I would not recommend, because when you're driving in the mist with your car, which is a very Neptunian analogy, when you're driving in the mist, you're not going to accelerate. You're not going to do the sports button of the car, if you have that. But anyway, you're going to do like, oh, I'm going to slow down, I'm going to observe, and we'll see. It will get clear. It's not clear now, but the beauty is it's not going to stay like that forever. And it's going to get clear. Before clarity, there's always unclarity going on anyways. So, so yes, it's about philosophy, but being very flexible in your mindset. The ninth house in Sagittarius is all about mindset. So be also aware that because it's a lot about your opinions and your belief system, right? You could have a new. It's a good time now to a new belief system, to look at a new belief system. Maybe you're saying, okay, I want to have a new belief system now. I've pushed too hard in 2025, and I don't want to get a burnout, for instance. And I have all that male energy, and I'm off. Why is that? You investigate. You are wise. You observe yourself, and you contemplate. And your philosophy. Maybe your philosophy or your belief system isn't good in the first place. Maybe you were raised with that belief system, that you always had to work hard for the money, like in the song of Donna Summer. And now you can question. Say, is it that way? I see people who are not working that hard, but they kind of are it. Maybe, why not? I'm inspired by that, not jealous, because that's the negative side of Saturn. Oh, they are doing nothing, and they're getting all the cake, and I'm doing everything and getting nothing. You know that you have those waitresses or waiters that they are working hard, and they're running from here and there, and they're getting never or almost never a tip. And then the ones who are very relaxed and trust that everything will work out, even there's a whole bunch of people waiting there, they get all the tips. That can be this energy of, I'm gonna do a new belief system, but for that new belief system, I will have to think about it every single day. Saturn and Neptune. Be open to, hey, I'm going to test this, right? I'm going to test this new belief system, and practice with. I'm going to give it time. I'm going to do next year, a little bit less hustling for the money, and we'll see what happens. I give myself a year, right? Or half a year, or 3 months, or 2 months, whatever. So that's a very, very interesting energy, and I think it's very, it is very aligned with the time of the year. So let's get into this very quick, where this is situated in your chart. Not only the new moon in Sagittarius, but also the square to Saturn and Neptune, where we have to have those boundaries, but where we have also, and those strategies and structures, but also those dreams. Very quickly, because it's very simple. I hope it was simple to explain. So, duties and dreams, yes. So it's about duties and it's about dreams. But what is it for? First of all, for Aries. Aries, this is happening in your ninth house. You're a fellow firehouse, your firehouse, absolutely, Aries people. But you are a fire sign, and definitely if you have planets at the very end of Aries, you're going to feel this very strongly. This is beautiful for you. This is very aligned with your energy. And it's in the ninth house, the house of Sagittarius. So plan a new trip, a faraway trip, as far as you can. Or it could mean plant a seed for a new study, or you teaching, or you being a messenger of some sort. You planting a seed for a new belief system. Like in the beginning, I was explaining with having a new belief system and testing it. This Saturn Neptune is in your 12th house, so this is your 12th house is all about the subconscious. So it's a lot about knowing your subconscious and getting to know it by those, boundaries that are there on a very subconscious level, right? You could say like, I'm going to start a new study, and then, you bump into a pattern that was subconscious, that was like, I'm not good enough, for instance, to do that because I'm now 50 years old, or whatever it is. It's important for you to ground yourself, but when it comes to those thoughts, but also to dissolve these old patterns with Neptune there. Very beautiful. It's a very positive new moon for you, again, because it's a fellow fire sign, But what else is the ninth house? A new belief system, a new study of astrology, a new study of the philosophical side of life, planting a new seed also for if you want to do a project, for instance, for work or whatever, and the international world is involved with that. It's very much something like that as well, but it's on a mental level for you. Taurians, this is in one of your most secret houses. This is happening in your 8th house, a very deep house, a very transformative house, the house of life and death. So there's some sort of a rebirth going on for you, and a renewal, you could say, that has to do with, for some of you, starting a course that has to do with the occult. Starting that, because it's connected to Saturn and Neptune in the 11th house, which is the house of groups of people, associations, but also the house of friends. So for some of you, it's a study of an interest there, or deep psychological understanding of something. And it could have to do with a friend. It could also have to do with a group or an association or a goal that you have. That you want to get through, but you're bumping into a part of you that needs to go, a part of you that, a part of your identity even, that needs to go in order for you to do that goal. So very interesting. On another level, it has to do with money, because the 8th house represents money of other people, or that you share with other people, so your spouse or business partner. There could be a new start there. If you're doing something with a friendship that considers money, be very careful, very realistic. So make the plan and the contracts, but also, have the good heart and the hope. So it's both of them. Don't be too much Saturn, which is too much fear, and don't be too much Neptune, which is being so idealistic that you're like blind, so to speak. It can also mean the 8th house is also intimacy. It could mean, let's say, for instance, you're single and a friend becomes a little bit more than a friend, and it's about intimacy. And it's about sharing, body, mind, and soul. And that has its challenges as well. But nevertheless, it also has this dream come true of a relationship that deepens. Very beautiful. It doesn't, by the way, has to be romantic always. Can be a friend as well, a deepening of a relationship with a friend. Gemini, this is all relationship for you. This is a new moon in your 7th house of relationships. So there is something, whether you are single or together with someone, there's a new kind of energy coming in. There's like an ending and a new beginning. And it squares up to your midheaven, which is Saturn and Neptune being there in your 10th house. So for some of you, this means like, because of responsibilities and growth and ideas around work, there might be some tension with a partner, for instance. Or there might be, because you have a relationship now, you could say, how are you going to have meaning by combining these two, the relationship and the career? For some of you, it's that. It could definitely mean the end of a relationship when you don't think that, oh my goodness, all the Geminis are going to end their relationship. No, but when it's very, very hard, when you've done your best and you say, oh my goodness, it's really not working out. And it's really in your personal chart, of course, there has to be more than just this new moon. But it's squaring up to Saturn, Neptune on your midheaven. And the midheaven is your social status. So there could be something here shifting. Either from single, you become married, or from being married, divorced. There is a shift there. But again, not for everyone. It's just a small percentage. It has to be so big. The ones who have planets at the very end of Gemini will feel it the most. So for a lot of you, it's an invitation of a new purpose in the relationship. And it has to do also with how you show yourself in the world. If you don't work, for instance, with the Saturn Neptune in the 10th house. And it's also about your belief system. In an existing relationship, it could mean that there needs to be something different because of your belief system, because of a new belief. And of course, for some of you, this is a new relationship. This could mean a new relationship that is related to work or that is related to your social status. And whatever it is, it can make your dream come true, remember. Cancerians, this is in your sixth house, this new moon. And the sixth house is a very down-to-earth house anyways. So it's about planting a seed to improve that sixth house. And the sixth house is your day-to-day life, your day-to-day routines, your health, your work routines that you're doing. And that squares up to Saturn and Neptune in your ninth house. So there is about a belief system that you want to alter, that you want to change. And this creates some tension because you have that purpose of maybe a new job or maybe doing something for your health and also around the 20th of December, you starting, for instance, some fitness or something new that improves your health. It could be really a lot about that, but it bumps into an old belief system or a belief system that is subconscious, Saturn and Pisces in your ninth, and that is holding you back because you think like, oh, but I won't be able to, with my work, I won't be able to do that fitness and to do that long term and blah, blah, blah. So it's a lot about creating that new beginning anyways and to keep on going, you know. For a lot of you, it's an ending of an old job and a beginning of a new job as well. But it will demand courage to believe, right? To believe in an open, purposeful future. Leos, this is lovely for you because this is a fellow fire sign. So you're just like the Aries people in a very good place. This can be a start of something that has to do with your fifth house, something new. This can be a new hobby that you're going to start already around the 20th of December or having plans to implement it. It's connected to the eighth house with Saturn and Neptune there. So you could be starting doing something, a hobby like astrology or the occult or tarot readings. And because the eighth house is also that house of hidden information and hidden knowledge, and that Sagittarian vibe. It could also mean you starting to do more sports or workout or whatever that is. It demands really a death and rebirth kind of energy of you and a deep psychological understanding. It can also be new love. New love. When you are single, oh my goodness, this could mean a new love that really evolves towards a deep love, because this square with Saturn Neptune, it's like a dream coming true around intimacy. And when there is intimacy, there needs to be an openness of the heart, right? You're all about the heart. You're Leo. So, but that demands courage because you're vulnerable. So it's really about that as well. It can be an existing relationship as well, that there is a growth and a new beginning, where there is not only sexuality, but also, emotionally, mentally, all in one. The whole 9 yards when it comes to a relationship and a deepening of it, but with its challenges, right? And the challenge will be the fear, to conquer the fear of being vulnerable. Also, children, by the way, could mean that, you're planning, okay, I want to have kids, and that's going to be, of course, very transformational. Virgos, this is important. If you are a Virgo, have planets at the very end of Virgo, you're going to feel it very much. All Virgos will feel it, but this a little bit more. And it's in your fourth house, so it's the deepest part of your chart. So this is the planting of a seed, a new beginning. Two big things here. Either it's about literally your home, or it's about your emotional setup. There is a shift here. There is a possibility of buying and selling a house. There is a possibility of, in an emotional way, you ending an emotional idea that you had about yourself, or an emotional belief system, because it's in Sagittarius, and you're ending it and you're starting a new one. Like, for instance, if you're saying like, I'm being too reactive, I'm always emotionally too much involved with others or whatever, and I'm too emotional, too reactive. I want to be a little bit more observant and stay with myself, for instance. Let's say that could be easily the planting of the seed that I was talking about. And it squares up to Saturn, Neptune in the 7th house. So it has to do with other people. Even if you're single, that could mean that you're going to meet the love of your life because you're emotionally doing a new setup when it comes to your belief system about your emotional reactive system. Very interesting. So if you have an existing relationship, this could also mean that you're getting very real, and but at the same time you're having hope. But it's really that relationship is what it is. If you see it for what it is, but if you also have a warm heart, you can make those shifts here. You really can end here a relationship when it's a very bad one. This could be it, but then it's almost like a new rebirth emotionally, which is going to be very good for you. Of course, it can be like it depends on what you did before. It depends on if you have been going too much towards Neptune, which is the illusion. It could be a bit of a time where you feel disillusioned and when you feel like, oh my goodness, didn't I see that? But again, don't go into the guilt trip, as I explained in the beginning of the video, but use it as the shift of emotional setup. But for lots of you, this is a new beginning on an emotional level. And that's good for sure. Librans, this is nice. This is sextile energy, which is flowy energy in the 3rd house. So a new beginning when it comes to your logical thinking. So you could be starting a new a course or a workshop that you want to do. It might be a bit in conflict with Saturn, Neptune in your 6th house. So maybe in conflict with your work. Or with your health even. So you have to figure that out, how to balance that out, right? You have a study that you want to do, for instance, and you work at the same time. So how are you all going to do that? But on another level, it's travel. You can do a short trip and it bumps into your responsibilities at work, or it bumps into these kind of things. Can also mean you are wanting a new job, a new work, and you're writing out plenty of letters. That's this new beginning because you have this belief system of yours is shifting. You have a new belief system around how you see life, and it's connected to your lifestyle as well. So if you want to, for instance, improve your lifestyle and being more healthy, or just a more upgrading of your lifestyle and how you live your life on a daily basis, it starts with the mind, and it starts with a positive mind and a positive talk to the self. So it's really a mind thing for the Librans as well. Scorpios, this is in your 2nd house. So you are having this new moon in the house. First of all, it's a financial house. So there could be a new planting of a seed to improve your finances, to improve the purpose of your finances, because that's what this Sagittarian vibe is all about. To see it a little bit bigger, to see where the problems are, to see where you can shift these things. And it squares up to the 5th house, so there's tension with Saturn and Neptune there. It might be literally you spending too much, or you wanting to shift this because you're spending too much on a hobby, you're spending too much on a child, you're spending too much on leisure and pleasure. And how you figure this out. And there's this new belief system, okay, I can do it. And it relates as well with your value system, right? And I mean the confidence you have, the self-confidence. So there is a planting of a new seed. It can also mean you starting a new project, you starting a new business. And it has this Saturn, Neptune in the 5th. It has this promise of a dream making true. If you do the work, watch the intro. Saturn, Neptune together there. And the 5th house means the hard work, Saturn, but also having the dream. Very beautiful if you want to do something that is more related to your values. There's something here that you want to create that is really matching your values. Sagittarians, of course, the whole intro is for you. If you have planets at 28 degrees of Sagittarius, you're going to feel this tremendously. The 1st house is your life path. So it's not just your physical appearance. That's also the first house. People think, okay, it's your body. Yes, but it's also your path. So, and with path, I mean the path for work, career, relationships, how you do life, every single thing. And you have here an opportunity to plant a seed to a new belief system of how you perceive yourself. It squares up to Saturn and Neptune in the fourth, so it's going to be tested with how you feel about yourself, how you feel secure in life. Your emotional well-being is related to this. Your family, your ancestry, of seeing it for what it is, but also of letting go of things that are not happening in your how you want that it to happen, because it's out of your control. So a lot of opportunity here to plant new seeds for the future, to plant new seeds that demand a lot of nurturing and demand a lot of care from also the self-care I see here, right? The not abandonment of the self, Saturn and Neptune in your fourth house, being very realistic about your emotions, but also caring for others and especially your family. But watch the whole introduction. It's all for you, the Sagittarian introduction. And getting philosophical about yourself, getting the helicopter view about yourself. And also for the Sagittarians, a very important thing to do is to, when you're comparing yourself with others or how you want to be in the future, see it as an inspiration, not as, oh, I still have to get there. Because it starts with that. And also it starts with appreciation for the self. And I'm not saying that to be selfish, but to appreciate where you've come from. Look back at the year, or maybe at 5 years. Where was I then? When it comes to maybe a project that you did, or a relationship, or even career that you say, oh, I just started the career and I couldn't do this. I didn't even know the system that I was working with. And look at me now. I'm not yet where I want to be, but look at me now, what I did. I'm grateful for myself. Right? It's really about that energy. Capricorns, this is happening in your 12th house. This is the subconscious house. So there is a planting of a seed of, you could say, a big release of energy that has to do with your logical mind, Saturn and Neptune in your third house. So look at those logical inner critics kind of conversations that you're doing with yourself, and make it more real, but also make it more loving towards the self, and letting go of old inner critics that aren't even your voices in the first place. That is what the 12th house is all about. It's the things that we inherit from lifetimes, from family and whatnot. And you have an opportunity here to release. If you can make a short trip, do so. It really would help you to release that kind of energy because of the trip. And it can also mean you going on going within, reloading your batteries, doing some time alone, or spending some time with yourself can really help you to release that inner critic that is not helping you anymore. And that isn't even the truth, right? Because Sagittarius is all about the truth as well. And also your communication with siblings, and your communication with people around you, neighbors, and so on. There's a lot of healing there possible. Aquarians, this new moon is in your 11th house, and you're an air sign, so this is a sextile energy. This is lovely energy and easy energy for you as well. And this has to do with planting of a seed, maybe a new dream for you or a new goal for the future. So it's typical around this time of the year that you're doing this. So there's definitely an opportunity for a new objective, a new goal for the future. If you have your own business, you can plant a seed for growth, financial growth. Because the 11th house, if you have your own business, is the second house of the 10th house. It's your income. It squares up to Saturn, Neptune in the second. So typically, there is, when it comes to your finances, there is this, hey, be real, but also, hey, trust, right? And don't attach yourself too much to material stuff, right? So that you are getting like this and then you're pushing it away anyways. So there might be an objective and a goal for the future, or you starting something that has to do with like-minded people, an association you want to build up. But be aware that when it comes to finances, when it comes to your word, you will have to be very, Saturn, Neptune, having the dream, but also being realistic and work in a very systematic way. And another thing could mean it has to do with your self-worth, and it has to do with friends. There could be an ending of a friendship because it kind of clashes with your values. And, when this happens, this is really a lot about a dissolvement of a friendship because of the Saturn, Neptune in Pisces. And you know that sticking to some friends that are really not aligned anymore is not good for you, but not for them either. So I know that we have a lot of, those ideas, those belief systems, which is Sagittarius, of, oh, friends, they always have to back them up, always, always. That's not, you can question that. I'm not going to say that's not true. You can question that. That's the whole point of this new moon in your 11th house, questioning friendships. And, for better or for worse, there's going to be some outcome there that you are seeing a purpose. It could also mean a new friendships that starts, and that's going to really be interesting for creating more money, but also creating more value of the self because of this connection. Last but not least, Pisceans. This is at the top of your chart, which is the career house, the 10th house. And when you have planets around 28, 29, it's really, really significant for you. But for all Pisceans, some Pisceans will end the career, because of the new moon there. And it squares up to Saturn, Neptune in your house. So for you, it's all about you being realistic, absolutely, but also you being caring and empathetic towards the self. So it's that balance, not being too strict and too harsh on yourself, but definitely also not being too dreamy and too, oh, it's all going to work out. I exaggerate. It's those two extremes. You put them together and you've got a healthy balance. And for others, it's going to be a new job. It's going to be, if you're looking for a new job, it's definitely on. It's definitely about planting those new seeds there. If you're not working, this is all about a new start when it comes to your social status. You could be getting married, getting divorced, getting from no children to having a child. Big things in life that demand also of you to have an open view for your future, and definitely how you want to be seen in society, your role in society, what you contribute, whether you're 20 years old or 70 years old, it doesn't matter. What is your contribution to this world? Because that's your 10th house. And there's something philosophical about it, and there's definitely also something very philanthropic around it, right? And but make sure that you're not crossing your boundaries, and that you're not too lazy, and that you're not too hardworking, right? It's a bit of the balance there. Very beautiful. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to have a reading, check the link below. There's a couple of readings that I offer. You can write me an email if it's not really clear, or just order a reading for sure. I wish you all the best. Have a very good new moon, and see you next time. Bye-bye.